2020 happened to be a very tough and complicated year. Global pandemic made a huge impact on people's lives, governments, business, and culture. Remember the Word of the Year campaign. Experts even claimed that they couldn't choose one particular word to reflect 2020. As our Word of the Year process started, it quickly became apparent that 2020 is not a year that could be neatly accommodated in one single word of the year, they said. We're waiting to find out the experts' decision. During self-isolation, it might have been difficult to remain calm and mentally stable. Some of the things that kept us happy and amused were different forms of art, music, cinematography, TV and literature. Let's dive in the world's cultural life and remember what happened in 2020.
Hollywood delayed releasing the potential hits: a new James Bond movie, Black Widow, and A Quiet Place Part 2. Filming of such movies like Batman, Fantastic Beasts 3, and Avatar has been stopped. Hollywood is constantly losing money. Even if film is released, its box office is rather lower than the previous year. That happened to Tenet by Christopher Nolan. In the media, this release is considered as a failure. However, Nolan disagrees. I'm worried that the studios are drawing the wrong conclusions from our release, that rather than looking at the whole film has worked well and how that can provide them with much needed revenue, they looking at where it hasn't lived up to pre-COVID, he said. Nevertheless, some businesses get profit during these times more than ever. Streaming services are definitely one of them. Some movies that were made for releasing in cinemas were released online. So that happened to Enter the Fat Dragon and Lost in Russia, and Universal Pictures released their animated movie Trolls World Tour, both in cinemas and online. Netflix set a new record this year. Queen's Gambit is a new miniseries about Beth Harmon, who starts showing a great talent in chess. Viewers can follow her growth from child to great successful woman. The show has become the most watched scripted limited series to date on Netflix, and people's interest to chess has increased suddenly. According to NPD Group, in the 3 weeks after the release, sales of chess sets jumped on 87% in the USA. Another significant thing happened in 2020. Now films must have at least 2 of 4 features. They include featuring actors from underrepresented groups on significant roles or accounting for at least 30% of the whole cast. It's a similar criteria, but an important, huge contribution on paying internships and development of the careers. And it's, of course, significant representations among the teams devoted to publicity and distribution. The Oscars guidelines are going to be changed in 2024.
As for the theatre industry, it has drastically changed during 2020. Because of the COVID-19 pandemic, theatres all around the world introduced digital viewing to bring the shows directly to the audience. The explosion of online performances has become nothing less than a revolution for both actors and viewers. Online streaming gives theatre makers a chance to find new creative ways in order to adapt and survive. Zoom plays, which are interactive, pre-recorded theatrical productions, and live tweeting are already a well-established practice. This increased access to online performances attracts young, less wealthy, and even foreign audience. Royal National Theatre, the Globe, the Broadway put their past performances online via various streaming platforms. The National Theatre's program NT at Home is one of the most successful virtual projects of lockdown. The play One Man, Two Governors has gained more than 2 million views on YouTube. Such number of views are far beyond the seating capacity of the theatre hall. In addition to pre-recorded plays, the online theatre gives an opportunity to experience live theatre from their own homes and participate in interactive Zoom performances. The audience at the Zoom session can be asked to unmute themselves and join in if they want. And of course, who could forget about the opera? English National Opera also returns in a new format. The premiere of La Bohème is performed live in the Drive-In Theatre. Parking lot theatre provides the high-quality stereo system and allows spectators to watch the opera from cars while tuning in to a local FM station. The experts believe that the pandemic gave the theatre industry much larger opportunities to develop. Online performances and new digital technology can become an independent genre of the regular theatre. In terms of music, this year surely has been rich in many, many ways. Rappers embarking on their rock careers. Yes, that's a legit Machine Gun Kelly reference. Ghostmane's new album and many, many, many new releases too has seen the light of day this year. And this also applies to the American Music Awards. This year's American Music Awards has taken place at the Microsoft Theater in Los Angeles. With COVID-19 protocols in place, Taraji P. Henson hosted the world's largest fan-voted awards show. The Artist of the Year award went to Taylor Swift. It's the third year in a row that she's won it. Swift also won in Music Video of the Year and Favorite Female Pop Artist nominations. Her latest album, Folklore, has become the first album to sell more than 1 million copies in 2020 and also the number one in America. As for the favorite male pop artist, this award went to Justin Bieber. He also picked up Collaboration of the Year and Pop/Rock and Favorite Country Song for his 10,000 Hours feat. The Weeknd and Roddy Ricch were the most nominated stars with 8 nominations each. The Weeknd took home 3 awards in the Soul/R&B category, including Favorite Male Artist. The most nominated female artist this year was Megan Thee Stallion. She accepted the award for Favorite Rap/Hip Hop and performed her new single Body. The 2020 American Awards featured also many, many stars, such as Katy Perry, Jennifer Lopez, Post Malone, and so on and so forth. Additionally, there were remote performances from also not American but foreign bands and artists, including a K-pop boy band BTS and a pop star Dua Lipa. Apart from the awards and popular music side of things, one couldn't notice how the music market changed overall. As most musicians, especially in heavy music scene and all the underground stuff, make money playing shows, as soon as the pandemic started, they had to find new ways to earn their living. Some started to teach fans to play the instruments, for example, Brendan Ellis from the band Black Dahlia Murder. Many began streaming almost daily and playing songs for their audience, as whole lineup of Trivium does. Many bands also started playing online shows and even online festivals. At least that's the way the German festival Wacken Open Air went this year. By the way, Wacken is the biggest heavy music festival in the world. Speaking of the concert market, in many countries, the absence of foreign bands and artists' concerts made people attend local shows more than ever before. And that's the route the music business took this year.
In the decade, museums have been actively trying to transfer their missions for digital age, and the COVID pandemic hastened the process. Forced to close their physical doors in March, museums came up with a few ideas how to stay open. Virtual reality are not new for the museum's world, so virtual tours provide a new way to keep visitors engaged while the museums are closed. Google Arts and Culture is a huge online platform dedicated to providing a public access to the greatest national galleries and museums of all over the world. It has been introduced in 2011 and now it partners with over the 500 institutions of arts. Many of museums joined it in 2020 on the rise of the global movement Museums from Home. National Museum Singapore, Vancouver Art Gallery premiered their virtual tours only in this year. Some countries approach digital transformation on the national level. In April, Egypt's Ministry of Tourism collaborated with Harvard University to release 5 virtual tours of historic sites. The tours explore 5,000-year-old tomb, the Red Monastery, and the Mosque Madrasa. Each experience features detailed third imagery through which users can virtually walk. In addition to VR tours, museums came up with other initiatives. The Hermitage Russian Museum of Arts broadcasting virtual excursions on social networks every day during the quarantine, and also staff was posting photos of museums halls with some comments from social networks and from guides. The Hermitage was closed in March 2020. Since March, the Hermitage has released more than 100 broadcasts and videos. By May, they got 15 million of views, and also 5 million of views came from the virtual tours. These figures are several times higher than the attendance of the Hermitage in the periods since January 2020 to March 2020. More than 70% of European museums increased their online presence with the help of virtual tours and some other online events, according to the Network of European Museum Organizations report. We hope that the tendency of digital transformation stays for good, because online medium gives a lot of possibilities to the world of art.
In 2020, the Nobel Prize was awarded to the American poet Louise Glück. As a reward, she got 10 millions in Swedish krona, that is about 1.12 millions of dollars. Glück earned her prize for her unmistakable poetic voice that with austere beauty makes individual existence universal. The poet, being 77 years old, has released 16 books of poems and 2 books of essays over almost 40 years of her career. The Nobel Prize for Literature is a prestigious prize which is awarded annually by the Nobel Foundation for achievements in literature. Except for literature, there is a Nobel Prize in physics, chemistry, and medicine. Throughout its existence, the award was given 107 times. The Nobel Prize was presented to such authors as Leo Tolstoy, Bernard Shaw, and so on. In the history of Nobel Prize in Literature, it has been rejected only twice. In 1958, Boris Pasternak was the first to accept it, but later refused because of pressure from the Soviet authorities. The second Nobel Prize in 1964 was rejected by Jean-Paul Sartre, who consistently rejected any official recognition throughout his life. This year sure has been difficult, but now we know hard times definitely make people more creative, not only about the way to live their life, but also about the way to make their art.